Hi everyone, it's Bob Perkins with the AA-ISP. I'm the founder and chairman, and I'm so happy to be with you here at the Inside Sales Virtual Technology Summit. I'd like to spend just a few minutes with you today to talk about how technology is affecting our profession of inside sales, virtual sales, and oftentimes it has a very positive effect, but there's some challenges that go along with that. So let's take a look at the role of tools and technology in inside sales. We're going to get started first with talking about the very basics. What is inside sales? And I know many of you that are viewing this already know, but let me talk a little bit about a definition. We tend to call inside sales sales done remotely or virtually. In fact, if you think about it, it's not so much inside sales sitting on a phone at a cube, field sales out meeting a customer. Those two types of sales are kind of blending today. That line is being blurred. In fact, many traditional field sales reps are doing virtual sales. They're selling remotely, as is inside sales. So just keep that in mind. Inside sales covers a wide range of roles, not just quota carrying inside sales in a discrete way. It could also include a team model where inside works for the field. It also very much includes sales development or business development reps and even inbound reps. Let's go ahead and kind of jump in. How has the evolution of new technologies changed inside sales? I'd like to turn the clock back just a little bit, and let's talk about inside sales when it got its start. Oftentimes it was telesales. Well, back then, inside sales reps had a phone and a phone book. They didn't even have the internet. They didn't have email. They didn't have video like we're doing today, or screen sharing, or anything that went along with the internet. Well, it's changed tremendously. Email came about. The internet came about. The ability to send video or even send live video has come about. But one thing has remained common over the years about inside sales. The person, not technology, was the core piece to the selling process. So much has changed, however, recently when we look at the different communications methods. In fact, the AA-ISP and InsideSales.com has done research every year called the Top Challenges Research. Included in that, the last couple of years, we've asked this question. Besides the phone and email, what other communication methods are you using to reach prospects or to talk with clients? And surprisingly, some methods that we've used personally for years are now becoming main type of communication with prospects and clients. For example, texting. 5 years ago, we thought you'd never, ever text a prospect or client. Well, our research indicates over 30% of inside sales, virtual sales, digital sales people are texting clients on a regular basis. The use of video is up. It's up from 10 to 15% only a few years ago to now 27, 28%. And people, like you're seeing my picture being recorded up in the corner of this video, people are now going face-to-face via video technology. I say video, especially if you get both people live on a video camera, I say that's the next best thing to being there in person. So many technologies and communications methods are emerging to support this virtual selling. Now, besides some of those communication methods, we have hundreds of tools and technologies around CRM, CRM acceleration programs to help with email cadence, programs to help with video, programs to help with proposals, managing pipeline, looking at different ways to communicate with prospects. Hundreds are out there and available to help you with your selling process. In fact, I heard a statistic recently, I forget where it came from, but something like 10 new technologies are invented and added to the market every week. Let's move forward. What technology should sales leaders and reps be thinking about? Oftentimes we think about what's the next best thing to help me sell. There's so much to choose out there. Let me back up first and say, before you go to the end, go to the technology, let's think about our sales process and our sales motion. You see, so many reps and leaders see something new and they say that's going to help. Yet, they haven't fully defined their sales process. So start with that. Outline how you market. How do you first contact prospects? How do you work with your clients on an ongoing basis to make sure you're staying in front of them? What does a proposal look like? What is your, do you need help by a systems engineer in the selling process? Do you do a screen share? Do you do a virtual demo? Are you flying there in person? You know, how do you then close a sale and what happens after that? Outline that first, regardless of what technologies you're using or may want to use. If you start there, you're then able to think about layering in tools and technologies to actually help improve or make that process more efficient. How do sales tools affect the performance of a sales rep or manager? And is it always good? Well, look, we'd like to think that bringing on a new tool or technology is always going to have a positive impact. And in many cases, it has a tremendous positive impact. However, it can also have a negative impact. You know, there's two sides of this. In one case, there may be a tool out there that a sales rep can't live without, and you can actually attribute time saving or some type of other ROI to that technology. Yet, we know from sales rep feedback through research that some tools actually impede their efficiency. There's some leaders out there that say, hey, I need you to fill this out. I need you to check that. I need you to turn this on. Yet what they're asking for is really adoption of that technology, and it has nothing to do with ROI. So we got to be really careful here, and we got to dig in deep to better understand this. What issues or problems do new technologies pose? Well, let's say you're adopting a new technology. There's several challenges or problems that can evolve out of that. The first one, it has to do with something that's called change. In fact, I'm at the Senior Executive Retreat at the Sagamore on Lake George this week. I'm recording from there right now. We have a tools and technology group going on right now, and I've sat in several sessions. Change was one of the common themes that came out. And change is good, but it can be very disruptive. And that can be an issue when you're putting in a new technology. Once reps have gotten through the shock of change, right, now you have to talk about adoption. Are they going to use it? That's another problem. Finally, is the tool really helping, right? I've talked to so many leaders that tried a new technology only to, not to go on with it the following year because it wasn't improving efficiency, it wasn't improving sales or the ROI. So there's several problems and challenges that go along with trying a new technology, change being the first and biggest one. Where do you start? How do you implement change in your organization? Well, so many times I've seen leaders jump in, say, hey, we found this great thing. I talked to a rep. They liked it. They used it at a previous job, and we're going to go do it, right? I would urge you not to start at the end there. I would encourage you to start by involving the people that are going to be using the technology the most, the frontline reps. Bring them into the discussions early. Bring them into the discovery phase. Let them try out the new technology. Do a trial. Do a pilot. See how it works. Get their feedback, right? That's the biggest starting point, I think, that a lot of people fail to do. You see, if you can get the reps liking the technology, buying into the technology, using the technology in an early phase, you'll have a much better chance of having full adoption of that if you choose to implement it across the organization. As we kind of wind down here, first of all, I want to thank InsideSales.com. They've been a great supporter of the AA-ISP and the entire Inside Sales community. They stand behind our mission to help raise the level of professionalism and performance. So let me summarize a few things today. One, there's so many great emerging tools and technologies. You owe it to yourself and you owe it to your teams to get out there and see what's available. But don't rush into thinking that you need every new technology that's presented to you. In fact, a statistic I heard recently is that the average inside sales organization, the average rep has 7 layers of tools and technologies. Now that may be good, but it may be too many. Start with defining your sales process first, right? Get really good at that. In that, as you do that, find out which tools and technologies are a must, right? What are the ones that the reps absolutely have to become even better at what they do? And by the way, being better at what you do is not always about the rep. It can also be something that affects the customer. You see, a tool and technology could positively or negatively affect the customer, which is really the most important piece, into the sales equation. Finally, as you do bring on new tools and technologies, make sure you add ample time for training, right? You want the reps to buy in, to fully know how to utilize the new technology, and so that they adopt it. Lastly, I'd like to paraphrase a quote here that I've used at the Inside Sales Executive Retreat here at the Sagamore. Create a vision, inspire, then lead. Metrics, processes, forecasts, and I'll add technologies. They can all be managed, but your people must be led. Let's not forget that the people that we serve as leaders are the most important part of this equation. I wish you all well. Good luck with working through your technology and tools decisions. And finally, a big thank you once again, InsideSales.com. You're doing a great job. In fact, Ken Krogh was out here this week, and it's great to see him. Look, I look forward to seeing you at a future AA-ISP event. Take care.